If you're a business owner, you might be eligible for up to $10,000 from the SBA as a grant. Yes, a grant, meaning that it is not owed to the SBA later on. It is cash that's free to you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through not only how you can apply for this grant, but also an SBA disaster loan. SBA disaster loans are now available to people in all states, as long as you are a business owner and that you can show that you have been economically impacted by the coronavirus. You are eligible for one of these SBA disaster loans. Also, these are very favorable loans. They're fixed rates under 4%, and they can be 10 years or even more. So if you're a business that's struggling as a result of the coronavirus, if you're considering laying off employees or you're just not sure how to get by, this might be a great opportunity for you. And so in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to fill out the forms and apply. And believe it or not, it's not that hard. So I'm going to share my screen with everyone and walk everyone through it. So this is the SBA website. First, you'll go to sba.gov. And today is Monday, March 30th. And just yesterday, the SBA updated their website. And now at the top, it says, apply for an economic injury disaster loan, click here. And you're going to click there. And then wait for the application to load. And so the first section, there's a number of different options and it asks you to choose one. Applicant is a business with not more than 500 employees, or applicant is an individual who operates under a sole proprietorship with or without employees or as an independent contractor. So if you're a business owner, you have employees, you're going to want to check that first option. But if you're a sole proprietor, you're a contractor, you may not even have a business, you'll want to check that second option for sole proprietors. And that's true. Even if you don't have employees, you can still apply for this loan. You can receive funds even for yourself. So you'll check that second box. There are a few other options, so read through if neither of those first apply for you. The second series is to review and check all of the following. The applicant must review and check each of these items. The first is that you're not engaged in any illegal activity, that the principal with a 50% or greater interest is not more than 60 days late on child support. And so you'll go through these one by one. I encourage everyone to read each one, make sure that you are eligible and that each of these apply to you. You will need to check all of them in order to be eligible, and then click continue. Here's where you start entering your actual business name. So the first box is your business legal name. So if you own an LLC or a corporation, you'll enter the business's name. If it's just you individually, then it'll ask information about you. But since we're going to do this example for business, we're going to fill it out with our company name, the Gordon Law Group, and then the trade name. If you're a DBA or you're a sole proprietor, you would enter your name here. So we also have a DBA for Gordon Law. So after you add your trade name or your DBA, then it asks for your EIN or your social security number. An EIN is the number that you would be given as your business, but a social would be used if you're a sole proprietor. If you don't have an LLC or a business, then you would enter in your social security number. So we're just going to put in a made-up number just for this. And then the organization type. If you're a business, you'll select the type. We are an S Corp, so we'll check that. And then if you're a nonprofit, so nonprofits are also eligible, you would check yes. Otherwise, you check no. Similarly, if you're a franchise, you check yes. Otherwise, no. And here, then it asks for financial information. So pull out your profit and loss statement from last year and actually all the way to the month prior to the date of the disaster. So through January 31st, 2020, you'll want to estimate as close as you can your gross revenues for that time period. So we're just going to put in 100,000. And then it also asks your cost of goods sold for that same 12-month period. And this would be a good question. If you're not sure how to answer it, reach out to us, reach out to your accountant for what to enter there. And then here's a question about rental properties. And so there's been questions about whether or not just as a landlord you'd be able to apply for a loan. This seems to suggest that in fact you can. So if you had rental properties and you lost income resulting from the coronavirus, you would put in that amount here. Only the lost rent dollar amounts. Since we don't have any, we won't enter anything. Then nonprofits, the cost of operation, and then combined annual operating expenses for all secular social services provided by faith-based entities. We're not going to fill that out. Similarly, listing the secular services provided by faith-based entities. If you're not a faith-based entity, you don't need to worry about that. Compensation from other sources received as a result of a disaster. So if you had some sort of insurance payout or payment from another source, you'd enter it there. And then a description of it as well. Finally, the business address. So you'll just enter your business address here. And then the business phone number. So very easy. This is if you have an actual office, you'll use that address. If you're a sole proprietor and you're working from home, you'll use that. Then your business email address, the date the business was established. And then if your business has had different owners along the way, you'll put the date of the current ownership structure. But if the business ownership hasn't changed, then you'll just use your original business established date. Then business activity, you'll want to find whatever most closely matches your business. We're doing it for a law firm, so we'll do legal services. And then again, you'll want to designate the professional service. And then finally, the number of employees as of January 31st, 2020. So put 6. And then click next. On this screen, it asks about the individual owner or the agent. And so here you'll fill in information about who actually owns the business. For title, just select whatever looks to fit you best. Ownership percentage, if you have multiple owners, you designate that here. Otherwise, if you're just a sole proprietor, you'll put 100%. The owner needs to put their social, also put their birthday, and then the place of birth. And then whether or not you're a U.S. citizen, and then finally the residential street address for the individual owner. So in this example, you'll see here that I'm putting down our office address. I'm doing this just for purposes of this video, but you'll want to put where the officer actually lives, so their residential address. And then if there's additional owners, you'll click this box to add additional owners, and then it's the same information once again. And at the top, is your business owned by a business entity? Make sure you either check yes or no at the top here. If your business is owned by another business, then you check yes. If your business is just owned by individuals, then you would check no. So our business in this example is just owned by individuals, so we'll check no, but otherwise you check yes. When you're done completing all the different items here, then you check next to go to the next screen. Additional information, you have to identify if the business or its owner has been convicted of a criminal offense. And then there's also questions about being disbarred or suspended from contracting with the government or receiving federal government loans. You'll have to answer yes or no. Assume the answer is no, you check no to each of these. Then finally, if anyone assisted you in completing this application, if you hired an attorney or you had an accountant help you, you would fill this section out and identify them. And here is the most important, or one of the most important parts of this application. This checkbox here, and it's not till this third screen that you get presented with this checkbox. But if you want $10,000 as a grant, you need to check this box. It is advanced to you under the loan, but is later forgivable up to $10,000. In order to be eligible, you have to check the box, and then most importantly, put your bank information, because that's where the funds are actually going to go to. So make sure you put your bank account number and then your routing number as well. Double, triple check your account and routing number. The hope is that within days after applying, the SBA will start to disperse the $10,000 to people. So make sure that that is entered correctly. Finally, read the statement here. Make sure that you agree with everything that is here, and then click that you certify under penalties of perjury that everything that you provided is true and correct. And then click next. You'll have an opportunity to review everything that you submitted. Again, a great opportunity to make sure everything is correct. Go through it all one last time. And then you're not a robot. And then you click submit. I'm not going to click submit because I already did do this already once. But you click submit, and then if it all is complete, you'll be given an ID number that confirms that it has been submitted. And that concludes this portion of the application process. After this is reviewed, the SBA will be in touch requesting further information, but to be eligible for that initial $10,000 grant, this is all you need to do. And most importantly, check that box, and hopefully very soon you'll have that $10,000 deposited into your account. There are some other great opportunities available, and we did publish some other videos that walk through the different programs. In addition to this disaster loan, there's also a payroll tax credit, and there's also a other forgivable loan known as the Payroll Protection Program, which allows up to 8 weeks of payroll, rent, and utilities to be forgiven. So I would certainly recommend that you review both this disaster loan and the forgivable loan to identify if both make sense to you or one or the other. Please feel free to reach out to us with any questions or to schedule a consultation, and we can walk you through these applications as well.